Christopher R. asks, Gary, have you ever dropped the ball on making a decision due to overthinking it?
Chris, I would say that I almost need her to repeat it, but I think I got it. Actually, I sent it to her, so I got it. So I got it. The reason I sent it to India was, I saw this, Chris, in the feed, is I'm actually normally making mistakes in the other direction. So I tend not to overthink at all. I'm very intuitive, and most of my business mistakes have been to act too quickly and then have to bail out. I have found that speed trumps everything, and so for me, when I weigh opportunity costs, I'd rather start something, both money and time, if I intuitively feel it, and then let it fail 6 months or a year later. New concepts I have for Vayner, new divisions, new types of wines for Wine Library, things I've done for my own brand. And I want to push so many of you for this. I really want to push a lot of you. So many of you are not taking action because you overthink it. You overthink it. You overthink it. I always say deploy your resources that you can afford to lose. A lot of you don't have the dollars. I used to not have the dollars, but I had my time. The reason I punted my 20s was because I didn't have money, or I didn't have a lot of it. You know, a lot of you hear about the $3 million business. I love when people like try to rag on me and say, oh, hey, if everybody had a $3 million business. I mean, every single kid that gets $500,000 in startup, which was millions, had more dollar resources than I had. We didn't have dollars. Business did $3 million. It made $300,000 in profit in selling $3 million worth of liquor, and then it still had to pay expenses. And my dad took home his salary. Like, we had no money, but I had my time. And I would test things, and I stayed up. I didn't punt my 20s for kicks and giggles. I punted them because the only resource I had was my time. And so I had to work 18 hours a day because it's what I had. Got it? So taking action is, especially if it doesn't cost you money and it's just time, is always a better answer than pondering or thinking or trying to decide if this is gonna work. You don't know. The learning of the failure is as equal to the victory of it. Right? The learning, the things I've learned in my 20 years. The reason I'm so advanced as a business person in my own mind is not only have I worked a lot, but I've, you know, this work hard, work smart thing, I've worked smart. And one of the smartest things I do as an entrepreneur and a business person is I do things so I can understand whether they work or not. You can't just sit here and say, is this gonna work or not? Debate it your whole life, never do it, and then not know the answer. Like, you don't know. Like, one of two great things happened. One, you did it and it worked, and you made money and you won and you got accolades and it worked. Wine Library TV, it worked. The Wine Library, the classes that I was gonna do, or I'm trying to think of things that fail. It's like, you know, so another thing is I just forget them so quickly. I'll work on this. You know what, India? I wanna do like top 11 things I did at Wine Library that didn't work. Local van delivery at scale I never did. You know, so one of two things happen. Either it works and you make money, the email service, it worked. Or it doesn't and you're like, well, I'm not gonna do that again. But this whole like indecisiveness when you can do it. If you don't have the money, you can't do it, so what the fuck are you thinking about it for? You know, I wonder if I buy a building in New York City, will it go up in value? I wonder. The answer is it's gonna work, but guess what? I don't have $400 million liquid to buy a fucking Empire State Building type building, because you can't even buy that for $400,000. You know, $400 million. You know, so like, this is an interesting question. The answer is no. I've never failed because of indecisiveness. I've only failed because I've done stuff, but I'd argue that I didn't really fail. I learned. I might have micro failed, but I macro won.